What if the real secrets to a wiser life weren't in some new self-help book, but were actually hidden inside ancient stories? Today, we're going to unpack three classic Hindi folktales that offer a surprisingly practical blueprint for navigating life's biggest choices. And trust me, these aren't just for kids. They're for anyone looking for some timeless wisdom.
It's a fair question, right? I mean, in our world of data and AI, why are we still talking about magical birds and talking foxes? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. Because our technology changes, but, human nature really doesn't. These stories tap into some deep truths about how we succeed and how we fail.
And that's exactly why they've stuck around for so long. They're like a guide, laying out these super clear patterns of wisdom and foolishness for us to learn from. Think of them as a blueprint for making better decisions. So let's get into it and start decoding that blueprint.
Okay, so our first section digs into this universal trap, a theme that pops up in all three of these stories: the lure of greed and that dangerous, dangerous promise of a shortcut.
This quote, this quote reveals a really critical mindset. So Nandu is offered this incredible wish-fulfilling plant, right? A reward that requires patience and care. But he totally rejects it. He doesn't want to nurture something to success. He just wants the shortcut, the golden branches, for instant, effortless wealth.
And here we see the exact same trap play out. Over on the left, you've got the fox, who basically represents wisdom, offering simple, practical advice. But the prince, he's just dazzled by the appearance of wealth. He ignores the smart counsel, chooses the shiny golden cage, and bam, he's immediately caught. His desire for what looks richer leads him straight into a trap.
Okay, let's jump back to Nandu for a second. He's presented with this amazing opportunity on the left, a plant that can grant any wish. But look at his reaction on the right. He just dismisses it because it doesn't look like a treasure chest. His obsession with an instant reward makes him completely blind to the real gift that's right in front of him. And this shows us that greed isn't just about wanting more. It's about how wealth can completely change you. I mean, look at this transformation. The woodcutter starts out as a kind man, sharing what little he has. But as soon as that bell brings him riches, his compassion is just gone. He becomes someone who won't even share a cup of water, the very act of kindness that started his whole journey.
So if greed is the path to failure, what's the path to success? Well, let's move on to the flip side. In these stories, true fortune is always built on a foundation of small, seemingly insignificant acts of kindness.
And you see this exact pattern play out across all the stories. It all starts with some random encounter, a meeting with someone in need. That's followed by a selfless act, something done with absolutely no expectation of a reward. And only then, as a direct result, does the magical opportunity show up. It's like a character test they have to pass just to begin their adventure.
And just look at how simple these moments are. A cup of water, an offer to help out, a moment of mercy for an animal. We're not talking about some grand, heroic gesture. These are small, humble acts of basic decency that end up unlocking everything that comes after.
That's exactly what these acts are. They're catalysts. They don't just earn a thank you. They literally trigger the magic. In these tales, kindness isn't just a nice little detail. It is the key that unlocks the entire adventure.
So this brings us to the core lesson of all three tales, the big idea that connects everything. The magic isn't really in the objects, not the bell, not the bird, not the plant. The real magic is just a reflection of the person who holds it. The true treasure is character.
Yeah, these stories are filled with all these tempting illusions. The golden branches, the golden cage, the mansion that appears out of nowhere. They all represent this hollow, superficial kind of wealth. They're the shortcuts, the prizes that require zero personal growth, and that's exactly why they all turn out to be traps.
Now, contrast that with what the real rewards are. They're about nurturing something to growth, persevering through tough challenges, and finding contentment through humility. The lesson is that real rewards aren't just given to you. They have to be earned, and even more importantly, they have to be maintained through good character.
I mean, this quote says it all, doesn't it? The king just makes it absolutely crystal clear. The bell's power was never in the metal itself. It was a direct reflection of the woodcutter's goodness. The moment his character soured, when his humanity died, the magic just stopped. The power was never separate from the person. And that's really the final blueprint these stories give us.
The most valuable things in life, success, strong relationships, real contentment, they aren't treasures you just stumble upon. They are things you have to build, day by day, through your own actions and your own character. They are forged, not found.
So I'll leave you with this question. In our world, right, there are no magical bells or talking foxes. So what takes their place? What are the real-world opportunities and connections that open up when we act with patience, kindness, and integrity? In other words, what is our magic?